The Osees Abomination revealed at last. Album review, let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest album from California Garage Psych legends John Dwyer and company, aka the Osees. And if this is the first time that you are hearing of them and knowing about them, honestly, you have a mountain of music to catch up on, much like their friend Ty Segall, who released a record over the last few months. But under names like everything from Osees to the Osees to the Osees, very different, trust me, not really, but they have touched down on everything from garage rock to psychedelic rock, from krautrock to freak folk, and wild experimental detours in between. A lot of those records I've really loved. Sometimes they've gotten a little bit too heady for me. But while some of their peers, especially lately, have kind of settled down and matured and taken on new sounds, Osees these last few years continue to push their sound. However, I will say it doesn't nearly seem to be tearing them apart at the seams. As a matter of fact, it sounds like they're having a lot of fun. And leading up to this thing, I thought the tracks that they were dropping were some pretty killer, sweaty garage rock tracks. Nothing too surprising there. Let's chat about it. From the very start of this record with the Abomination track, it's very clear the Osees are still certainly not slowing down. This thing is a sweaty, completely zany synth-punk track that doesn't even bother trying to get on the rails. It's off it for its entirety. It's short and chaotic, absolutely, but exciting. Sneaker, on the other hand, definitely turns up the personality on this record, which I love. It swings between these very hushed verses that are kind of weird and experimental, but also this very pissed off and frantic chorus. And John Dwyer absolutely sounds at his rowdiest here as well. Really do love Infected Chrome too. This one leans heavy into some sci-fi synths, which is something they've definitely been toying a lot more with lately, and definitely lets this thing breathe over 5 minutes. But man, does it have some great moments, especially that guitar solo. Glue, on the other hand, is just this feedback dripping throwback of a tune from the Osees, and it is a scuzzy, muscular sound that really brings me back to their glory days. We also get a ton of very unhinged solos, and John Dwyer sounding absolutely possessed. It's a great stretch of the album. Now, I will say not everything here really lands. There are some pretty ugly moments, sadly, like God's Guts, for example. John Dwyer definitely brings some angst to the table here. I do love his pissed off performance, but the production feels a lot muddier than usual, and all of a sudden these guitars just kind of melt. Not in an exciting way, sadly, in a faceless way. Ashes 2 is a quick, minute-long burst of energy, which certainly is exciting in the moment, but it also feels rushed, and its sister track is so much more compelling. And Glitter Shot, honestly, is a disappointing finale for me. I don't know, this one just comes off really average and thrown together. John Dwyer himself kind of like sounds like he's falling asleep throughout this cut. It's a surprising low on this record, especially with just how high octane it's been. At the end of the day, this is a solid record from the Osees, but I can't help but feeling like, weirdly enough, on their 30th record, this is kind of a transition album. Not only that, but a lot of the sounds of this record, they're not exactly that new, but it definitely ends with a very weird blast of great energy from the Osees. Coffin Wax locks in on that great krautrock groove that we get here. Really love John Dwyer's riff here as well. For guitar work, look no further. Ashes 1 is so much more interesting than Ashes 2. This is definitely the band's hardcore track of the album, and honestly, it injects this album with a little bit of life late in its record. And Fight Simulator, this one brings me back. This is a nostalgic burst from the Osees. It has that classic Garage Psych sound. The guitar work throughout is fantastic, and John Dwyer sounds like a madman. It is a great single. Really love Protection as well. This one has a really hypnotizing groove, one of the most memorable riffs here as well. And it proves that while the sounds of this album are a little familiar, they can still do a lot with them. And Glass Window is just the sort of blast of weirdo funk late in this record that I didn't know that I needed. Dwyer here just sounds like the ringleader of a psychedelic circus in the best way. It's a structured track, but it's beautifully strained. It's a perfect late album cut from one of the wildest and weirdest and most experimental bands out there. This album's pretty decent overall. Personally, I've enjoyed their last few records a little bit more. They were a little bit more game-changing, and just hearing the band work with so many new sounds was exciting. This is a little bit of leftovers, it feels like, at the end of the day. Really good leftovers that kind of sound more like a transition record that are still pretty exciting, but a transition record nonetheless. And after all these years, the band still sounds like they have so much energy and they're not slowing down. I'm sure that in a couple of months we'll be getting another Osees record, but for right now, I'm feeling a very decent 7 on this album. Let me know what you all think down below. If you're feeling froggy, hit those notifications and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.